In the world of WWE, where bulging muscles and raw power are part of the brand, being suspected of steroid use is almost inevitable. Yet, there are wrestlers who have stood firm in saying no to performance-enhancing drugs, despite skeptical glances and pressure from the industry. These athletes earned respect through hard work, discipline, and unwavering belief in themselves. Today, wrestling sphere highlights 10 standout names, individuals who dared to defend their honor and maintained a clean record throughout their careers. Big Show, the giant who said no to steroids. Big Show, also known as Paul White, is one of the most physically imposing figures in WWE history. With his towering height and seemingly supernatural size, many assumed that his physique had to be the result of steroid use. But the truth is far more complex. From the moment he debuted in WCW, Big Show stunned audiences with his naturally massive build. Unlike many wrestlers who bulk up or cut weight for the spotlight, Big Show was born a physical anomaly. He was diagnosed with acromegaly, a hormonal disorder that caused excessive growth during his adolescence, giving him his immense frame. His size was a product of biology, not chemical enhancement. However, during the 2000s, especially the ruthless aggression era, his weight soared to between 450 and nearly 500 pounds. WWE often emphasized this in his entrances, drawing attention to his sheer size. The sudden increase in mass led some to speculate that he might be using steroids to maintain strength in proportion to his body. In 2003, Big Show was linked to a Florida clinic known for distributing steroids to athletes through a fake doctor. Then in 2023, his name resurfaced in an investigation involving a performance-enhancing drug, PED, distribution ring that had allegedly been active for over 15 years. Although no solid evidence was ever presented, being named in such cases inevitably raised suspicion. Big Show responded to the allegations through his legal representative. His attorney firmly stated that Paul White had never used steroids or any illegal performance enhancers at any point in his career. In fact, due to his medical condition, taking such substances could have led to severe health complications, or even been life-threatening, something no one would risk. Throughout his decades-long career, Big Show consistently maintained his innocence and never failed a single drug test. While rumors have lingered, one thing remains undeniable. Paul White is the embodiment of a naturally born giant, never needing chemicals to prove his strength in the ring. Batista, a natural muscle icon amid waves of doubt. Batista was once the perfect embodiment of power and muscle-bound intensity in WWE. With his ripped physique, bulging muscles, and cool, commanding presence, Dave Batista quickly rose to become the unmistakable face of SmackDown during its golden era. But that same massive frame often made him a prime target for steroid allegations. In 2007, following the tragic Chris Benoit family incident, criticism of WWE's lack of control over performance-enhancing drug use reached a boiling point. During that climate, ESPN published a shocking article listing several superstars allegedly tied to a suspicious steroid supplier, and unexpectedly, Batista's name appeared among them. It didn't take long for Batista to respond. He firmly denied all accusations, stating he had never visited nor purchased anything from the mentioned provider. He also made it clear that WWE had a strict drug testing policy in place, and he had always complied fully with the company's wellness program. He went so far as to threaten legal action against ESPN for publishing false information that severely damaged his reputation. In fact, ESPN later admitted that listing Batista's name was an error, an important detail that helped clear his name during that period of controversy. Since retiring from the ring, Batista has continued to surprise fans by reinventing his image entirely. No longer the oversized wrestling powerhouse, he shed a significant amount of weight to fit his new role as a professional Hollywood actor. At a film premiere during the Toronto International Film Festival, Batista joked, "I started losing weight for a simple reason: I was getting fat. I was 240 pounds and still being told I looked malnourished." Standing at 6 feet 4 inches and still weighing around 240 pounds, Batista remains a fitness icon. But his transformation is more than just physical adaptation. It's proof that he never needed steroids to stay in shape. Discipline, determination, and honesty were always enough. Bobby Lashley, a muscular machine without steroids. Bobby Lashley has long been celebrated as one of the most physically gifted wrestlers in WWE history. From his very first appearance on pay-per-view, Lashley left fans stunned with a chiseled physique that looked like it had been carved out of marble. What's truly remarkable is that Lashley hasn't just maintained that look. He sustained peak condition for nearly 2 decades. As of 2024, approaching age 50, Bobby continues to compete at an elite level, showcasing the same power, speed, and stamina he had when he debuted in 2005. This level of consistency, combined with his sculpted body, has often led to speculation that he might be using steroids or other performance enhancers. But in a 2009 interview, during his stint in MMA after leaving WWE, Lashley openly denied any involvement with such substances. He emphasized his commitment to intense training, strict nutrition, and total discipline when it comes to his health. Throughout his decade-spanning career, Lashley has never failed a single drug test and has never been involved in any doping scandal. For him, success is the result of hard work, not hidden injections. John Cena. Natural muscle and unbreakable will. John Cena is one of the biggest stars WWE has ever produced. With his dense, muscular physique, unrelenting workout discipline, and real-life superhero aura, Cena has long been the subject of steroid rumors, especially because he maintained peak physical condition for years without any visible decline. When asked directly about steroid use, Cena has always given a firm denial. He stated that no one in WWE ever approached him about using performance enhancers, and even if they had, he would have refused. Cena credits his physique to consistent, long-term training, not to any chemical shortcuts. In one interview, Cena was asked whether he had ever tried testosterone replacement therapy, TRT, a legal method often abused by athletes. He said he hadn't, but added that if hormonal issues ever arose later in life, and it became medically necessary, he would consider it under a doctor's care. One of Cena's more controversial quotes came when he said, "I can't tell you that I haven't, but you also can't prove that I have." The statement raised some eyebrows, but despite speculation, Cena has never been involved in any performance-enhancing drug scandal, nor has he failed a WWE wellness test. While questions may always surround muscular stars like him, John Cena has consistently upheld the image of a clean athlete, one who earned his success through effort and integrity, not artificial boosts. Ryback. Naturally jacked or just an illusion? Ryback, the wrecking machine who once ran rampant in WWE, has always stirred debate when it comes to steroid use. With a monstrous build, massive shoulders, thick, stone-like muscles, and a high-impact in-ring style, he often drew comparisons to Goldberg. Many fans were quick to assume that his nearly 300-pound, silverback gorilla frame couldn't have been achieved naturally. But Ryback has firmly insisted otherwise. He claims he never used steroids during his WWE career and only underwent medically approved testosterone therapy at therapeutic levels. In a candid interview, he opened up about his journey to physical and mental recovery. "It felt like I was reborn. The light came back inside me. I trained with a new passion, new energy, and an unstoppable focus." Ryback says he believes in the power of hard work and in pushing physical limits every single day. He's openly criticized the idea that the human body needs constant rest, claiming instead that the body adapts when driven with proper intent and discipline. However, Ryback did admit that prior to joining WWE, he had used certain stimulants. These substances damaged his natural testosterone production, eventually requiring him to undergo hormone replacement therapy, TRT. By the time he signed with WWE, he was already on a legally supervised medical program, fully transparent and monitored by professionals. For Ryback, choosing to leave illegal substances behind and dedicate himself to disciplined training was a sign of true strength. Even though his massive frame continued to attract suspicion, he's remained unwavering in his stance. "I'm completely clean." Jinder Mahal. A muscular comeback without steroids. Jinder Mahal was once a forgettable name in WWE, best known as part of the comedic 3 Megabytes group, with an average physique that some even criticized as lacking presence. But everything changed when he returned to WWE in 2016. From being labeled a jobber, Jinder reappeared with a shredded physique, clearly defined muscles, and a newfound intensity in every step. People couldn't help but ask, "What's on his skin, veins? It looks like a road map." Many were skeptical, claiming his transformation was too extreme to be natural, arguing that no amount of protein alone could explain such a bodybuilder-like figure. But Jinder saw things differently. He insisted that his evolution was the result of sacrifice and extreme discipline, something only a few could truly understand. "No one in WWE trains harder than I do. "No one eats cleaner than I do," he stated. He gave up alcohol, locked down his diet, and followed an intense training regime, determined to rebuild both his career and his body from the ground up. When directly asked about steroid use, Jinder pushed back. "People don't see what I do in the gym. They don't realize how much of a difference your diet makes. You can completely change your body by managing your carbs and drinking a gallon of water a day." Regarding drug testing, Jinder said he had been tested at least 4 to 5 times since his return and had never failed a single test. With unwavering consistency and a fierce drive, Jinder Mahal didn't just come back. He rose to become WWE champion, proving that with enough discipline and determination, you don't need steroids to reach the top. Kane, from monster in the ring to mayor without PEDs. Kane, the Big Red Machine, is not only one of the most intimidating icons in WWE history, but also a living example that success can be achieved without performance-enhancing drugs. After retiring from wrestling, the man who once struck fear into opponents took on an entirely different role: politics. Under his real name, Glenn Jacobs, he now serves as the mayor of Knox County, Tennessee. But before donning a suit and tie, Kane was an absolute nightmare in the ring. In his prime, he stood nearly 7 feet tall and weighed over 320 pounds, a true monster in both size and strength. Playing a masked, silent, yet destructive force, Kane always stood out with his commanding presence and raw power. After suffering a serious bicep injury in 2002, Kane returned with a leaner frame and slightly less muscle mass but maintained a strong performance level. Over time, he evolved into different characters, from the unmasked Kane to the corporate version in dress shirts and ties. Yet even when fans least expected it, Kane could suddenly rise from the ashes and dive into a casket match like he'd never missed a beat. Following his departure from the ring, Jacobs became vocal about his stance on PEDs. He's publicly condemned the use of performance enhancers and stated that he never used steroids throughout his career. Everything he achieved, he credits to consistency, training, and a truly professional mindset. Braun Strowman, the monster among men under a storm of suspicion. With towering height, a frame like a moving skyscraper, and weighing over 330 pounds, Braun Strowman has long been a symbol of monster strength in WWE. But that same extraordinary physique has also made him an easy target for steroid rumors. During a conversation with Joe Rogan, when Braun's name came up, Rogan didn't hold back his doubts. "Jesus. This guy weighs 330 pounds. Are we really pretending he's completely clean? That just sounds ridiculous. I'm just being honest." While there's no concrete evidence, comments like this only fueled growing speculation online. Previously, Strowman drew attention when a photo surfaced showing him holding a syringe. He quickly responded, explaining it was simply a B12 shot, something he takes in place of caffeine due to his body's sensitivity. Braun's physique has evolved significantly over the years. When he first joined WWE, he was a massive, bulky powerhouse. But by 2022, after time away from the ring, he returned looking far more shredded and defined, yet still radiating that monster among men energy. Braun Strowman is heading to the ring, looking like a walking mountain. Despite the criticism, Braun has always stood firm. He claims his body is the result of intense training, a carefully structured diet, and strict discipline, not steroids. In his eyes, that's what it truly takes to become a real monster. Mark Henry, a true icon of natural strength. Mark Henry wasn't just the man who discovered and introduced Braun Strowman to WWE. He's also a living legend with the fitting nickname, the world's strongest man. What makes Mark special is that all his incredible strength came naturally, not from any kind of steroid. From the very start of his athletic career, Henry made his stance clear. "I gave it my all, but always followed the rules. I'd never use steroids just to fit in." His strong position attracted attention from doping authorities. Between 1995 and his Olympic appearance, Henry was tested 19 times in a single year, an unmatched number for any athlete at that time. Mark's power didn't come from syringes or pills, but from years of consistent training, beginning in the small town of Silsbee, Texas. Back in high school, he regularly shattered weightlifting records and became a weekly name in the local papers. "It felt amazing to be in the paper every week," Henry recalled with pride. Interestingly, at that time, he had no clue what performance enhancers even were. Once, when someone jokingly asked him, "What kind of energy drink do you want to try?" He shrugged and replied honestly, "Just give me orange juice." For Mark Henry, every title, every record, and every accolade came from sheer personal effort, proving that you don't need chemicals to reach greatness. Shelton Benjamin, natural strength and a confident challenge. Shelton Benjamin is one of the most naturally gifted athletes ever to step foot in a WWE ring. With a background in track and field, amateur wrestling, and explosive agility, Shelton consistently wowed audiences with his athleticism and ring presence. However, his perfectly built physique and fluid movement have also made him the target of unfounded steroid rumors. On one occasion, a fan on social media accused Shelton of using performance-enhancing drugs. Instead of ignoring the comment or responding with anger, Benjamin fired back with calm, unshakable confidence. He issued a bold challenge. If his drug tests came back completely clean, the accuser would have to donate $5,000 to a GoFundMe campaign supporting wrestling legend Jerry Lynn's medical expenses. The result? The fan deleted the post and quietly withdrew the accusation. Shelton has always maintained that he's never touched steroids. His success, he says, comes from a disciplined lifestyle, consistent training, and a clean diet. In a world like WWE, where rumors can spread faster than a clothesline, Shelton has managed to preserve a reputation of integrity and professionalism. Though he hasn't always been in the spotlight, those who understand pure wrestling skill, speed, and raw athleticism regard Shelton Benjamin as one of WWE's most complete performers. More importantly, he stands as living proof that you don't need steroids to be strong. You just need talent, work ethic, and heart. Despite constant suspicion, these wrestlers have proven that you don't need steroids to become a legend. Like, share, and subscribe to Wrestling Sphere so you never miss the real stories from behind the scenes of WWE.